Hey guys, and welcome to The Logic. I am John, and the logical one, Wise. So, the other day, I got a few action figures from a friend of mine. He just didn't want them, so he went ahead and he gave them to me. And these are really cool action figures. I remember seeing these when I was a young kid, never grabbed any of them. So I figured, what the heck, I will go ahead and share these with you. So first off, we have Spartan. Spartan was part of the, I believe, the Wildcats line from 1994, I believe. There was this is based on the Jubilee comic book series from Image. There was an animated series with these characters, and of course, there was a series of action figures based on the characters. This is Spartan. I don't know a whole lot of the series or the character, but I do know this is a pretty cool action figure. So let's go ahead and take a look at the action figure. Now, he's not complete, but I still did get a few accessories. Now, this particular figure came with 2 extra hands and a little communicator. I don't have the communicator, and I am missing a hand. So first off, let's go ahead and go over articulation, and then I'll go over all the accessories. So articulation in this guy is you can move the head full 360 degrees. His arms do go all the way around. There is no articulation in the elbow, but his wrists do swivel. His forearm here swivels here, and the hand here swivels. He does have articulation at the waist, and it does go full 360. However, he does have those awkward legs that I know Playmates used to use. I'm not sure who made him. I believe this was it doesn't say. No. It is Playmates. So this was a Playmates figure. So there we go. That's why we had those awkward legs. Now, as I said, he did come with accessory. He came with 2 extra hands. He came with a hand that fired lasers. I believe this was his power. And he came with a hand, another arm, part of a forearm and hand, that didn't have the battle damage. So, but I do have this, and we can go ahead and switch these out. Like so. And I do like the fact that this is just a translucent hand. These, however, are not translucent. It's just a solid pink. And it does clip fairly easy on here. Just pops right on. And now he has powers. So, another accessory he came with, and I believe they all might have came with, is a action figure stand. So you can fit him on there. And there you go. That is Spartan. Next figure I'm going to show, and while I have this stand out, is this is an X-Men Jubilee. I believe this might have been the first official actual X-Men branded Jubilee figure they brought out. There was a Generation X Jubilee action figure, but this was actually branded under the X-Men banner in 1995. It was part of the robot, some type of a robot crab series, where she was facing some type of a sentinel head or hand or something. She is definitely not complete. She comes with no accessories. You'll see a backpack here, but it's not removable. It's all part of the sculpt. Now, this is probably one of the most awkward figures I have out of this bunch. Here's the articulation. The head does move all the way around. Hair gets in the way a little bit, but as you can see, I turn it around 360, no problem. Her arms do go out like so. There is no articulation in the elbow. There's articulation in not her wrist, but her arm does go out in the shoulder like that. Same with this figure, or this arm here goes all the way around and out and swirls just like the other arm. No waist articulation, no knee bends, but the legs do go out weird. It's kind of like if it was made by Playmates. But this was, of course, Toy Biz at the time. And she's kind of just stuck in this battle pose. And because of that, she's very hard to stand. In fact, I have not once been able to get her to stand on her own. We'll try it again. Because she's got this foot right here. that needs to be flat. So what I've been doing is I've been actually been using Spartan's stand here, plugged her in, and I'll get her in a pose, and then just kind of stand her there. So, kind of the weakest link of a bunch of the figures that I have. But still, I mean, the sculpt is really nice. I wish her bangs weren't in the way of the glasses, because it almost just looks like a headband. You got a little bit of an indication that the glasses there. If you didn't know it was Jubilee, you wouldn't think it was glasses. So, and I never seen her wear this particular outfit before in the comics. I might have missed that at some point. So there you go. That is Jubilee. Whoa. There we go. Okay, so next figure I'll go over. So there were a series of comics called Malibu Comics, who eventually got bought out by Marvel Comics, and they've of course brought out action figures, and this is one of them, Nightman. Now, when I saw that I was getting this particular figure, I was super excited because though I never read the comic book, I used to watch the TV show. And I thought the TV show was just really, really, well, it was cheesy. But at the time, I thought it was pretty cool. Because you got to remember, when this came out, I think this was also maybe 95? I'm not sure the date on this thing. But maybe it might have been 93. I don't know. I really remember. But it was there weren't too many superhero shows out at the time. And when I saw this, I was like, oh my god, it's Nightman. So yeah, this is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and go over all the articulation. So we have his head, which does move, again, full 360 degrees. Hair does not get in the way. His arm, which is very tight, by the way, does go all the way around. It gets a little hindered by his cape, but you can move it aside to move it. He does have elbow bends at the elbow, no waist, but we do have the leg, which goes up, goes to about there. His leg, because of the cape, cannot go back any further, and then he does have knee bends. Whether the cape is removable, if you pull it, it is removable, and it is just a very, very hard plastic. So if you do remove the cape and you want to move the legs back, I suppose you could. They go back that far. So then you can just try it. There you go. Just apply the cape back on. Now I looked it up. He did come with one accessory in this grappling hook, which still has the string attached to it, and it does still fire rather well. So. And that just goes right back in here, and you can pretty much hold it in any hand. I find that he holds it best in his left hand, though. I just think it looks better. So, and I didn't really have too much trouble posing this guy. See if now he's going to prove me wrong. Of course, I'm on camera. He's going to prove me wrong. Well, he stands. Trust me, he stands. All right. Next up, so we're gonna stick with the toy. We're gonna go back to Toy Biz, and Toy Biz, again, I think this was 95. Came out with Ghost Rider action figures. It was a really cool line. I didn't get a chance to get any of them, and they all had a really cool feature in that they all glowed, and when you put them under the light, they would glow in the dark. Well, here we have Blackout. Now, I actually had to do a little bit of research on him because when I first got him, he was the only one of the action figures. I didn't know who this was, and I had to really look and search for him. And as you can see, he's actually kind of glowing right now. I don't know if that's coming off on camera, but he is kind of glowing right now. So, he has an action feature here. Where you squeeze his legs and his arms are supposed to go out and his mouth is supposed to open. So you do that, and that's about how far. His mouth doesn't open very far. You can tell it's supposed to because they actually have painted detail in the mouth there. You can actually see his tongue. It was just painted. That's really cool. But this is an old figure, and the springs are probably wore out. So it's because of that, of his limited articulation, which of course, because of his action feature, the head does not move. The arms, even though they do go out, they can turn around full 360, like so. They do go out like that, but they're going to spring back because of that action feature. And unique enough, the wrists do swivel. And they also have that glow-in-the-dark feature. His legs, because the coat, which is a somewhat pliable plastic, is non-removable. It is glued on, it looks like. But his legs do go out, and they do have bends at the knees. And this guy, I have absolutely no problem standing. Just look at that, just like that. You can move his arms down like that. So, perfect. I mean, I like that. Now, this, I knew who he was, but I'd never seen this particular version before. This is Trevor Fitzroy from the X-Force Toy Biz line, which was a spin-off of the X-Men Toy Biz line. Now, I remember seeing the blue-suited version of this in the stores. And he had the ice, which is just clipped together. And he had these little shin or leg guards, also ice. But now go ahead and I'll take these off. These are very old, so they come off very easily, especially these. They just fall right off. So I had to look him up, and it turns out he is actually an exclusive mail-away figure from FAO Schwartz. He was part of a 4-pack that included X-Force figures, such as him, Forge, Deadpool, and Cable. And so, yeah, this was an exclusive figure in that line. His articulate, and he looks really well. I mean, really well kept. His head does turn, as such. His arms will move, like so. And as you can see, he does have bends at the elbow. His legs do go out like that. They do not go back because of the way it's sculpted back here. But he does have knee bends. So, as you saw, he did come with accessories, and he is actually complete. He didn't come with a gun, even though he had this. So, you have these little ice pieces, and he's a time traveler. So, I guess these are for when he lands, he gets, you know, ice, or I'm not sure what this is. We know a lot of the Toy Biz X-Men, X-Force figures. They would get stuff for their powers that had nothing to do with their powers. Such as Juggernaut coming with a battling ram. And Nightcrawler getting sticky fingers. So, and these are supposed to just go fit right on the shin here, or his thighs. Thing is, the only bad thing about this is they really... Oh, I got mine back upside down. They're so old, they don't really want to stay on anymore. They're just supposed to kind of clip on. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get them back on right now for camera. No, it doesn't look like it. Well, there's one, and that's the one I usually have issues with the most. So if I can get it to stay on, that'd be great. No, they're not going to stay on. These are very old. This is a very old figure. These have probably been popped on and off constantly. This barely stays on. In fact, I bet if I tap it, it'll fall apart. No? Oh, again, proving me wrong. Alright. So lastly, and this is what struck my attention. This is what I went to meet my friend for. And he just happened to throw these figures in with this particular figure. This isn't an old figure. This is a fairly new figure. It only came out a few years ago. And that is the Superior SpiderMan. I really liked this. I really liked the storyline. I really liked the figure. The fact that Doc Ock is Spider-Man just intrigues me. So I'll go ahead and go over all the articulation on him. He does have that head that goes up and down. It's not ball jointed yet, so it doesn't really turn side to side, but it does turn a full 360. He does have his arms, which do like so. You'll notice he has these little pieces here. He does have the bend at the elbow, the double bend. He does have the wrist swivel and, of course, the rocker there on the wrist. The other wrist, I believe, is the exact same. There you go. He does have waist swivel, and he has the ab crunch. He also has the legs that go out about that far. They move like that. And they don't really move because of the sculpt of his butt. But they do tightly move at the thigh. And then you got double knee bends here. There you go. The ankles, they have the joint. Let's go up and down. I do believe they rock. Yes, they do rock. So there you go. And of course, you can get lots of different really cool poses out of this guy. He was one of my favorite Spider-Man. He's one of my favorite Spider-Man characters. My first love, of course, is the Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man. Sorry, Peter. Peter being my actual second favorite Spider-Man. And then we have the Dr. Octopus Superior Spider-Man. So, very cool. So, I want to give a big thanks to Jared, who provided me these figures. And it's, it's Memorial Day. It's my day off work. I thought I'd go ahead and share my my toy haul, if you will. So, thank you very much for watching. And if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It'll help me out. I'll be able to get back to doing live streaming, which YouTube has restricted those who don't have 1,000 subscribers. So we can't live stream anymore. And I love to live stream. I love doing live unboxing. Plus, if I can get 1,000 subscribers before the first weekend of August, I can live stream Gen Con 2019, which would be awesome. So hit that subscribe button for me. Hit that like if you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again next time for more awesome reviews and commentary.